The Shiny Stone. A long, detailed version for children. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between hills and forests, there lived a man named Edgar. Edgar worked deep down in a coal mine, far below the ground, where no sunlight could reach. Every day, he woke up before the sun rose, put on his old, dusty boots, and walked to the mine with a heavy heart. Edgar's job was hard. He spent hours digging through rocks and dirt, hoping to find coal for his boss. The work made his back ache and his fingers sore. He was very poor and didn't smile much. In fact, Edgar was almost always grumpy. He complained about everything: his job, his house, the weather, and even the birds that sang in the morning. He lived with his kind wife, who made him warm soup every night, and his little boy, who loved to draw pictures and show them to his dad. But Edgar hardly ever thanked them. He was too tired, too angry, and too busy thinking about how unfair life was. One dark morning, while Edgar was digging deep inside the mine, something unusual caught his eye. A small sparkle twinkled in the dirt. He blinked and leaned closer. "What's that?" he whispered. Carefully, he brushed the dirt away, and there, hiding between the rocks, was a shiny blue stone. It wasn't like anything he'd ever seen. It glowed softly, almost like a tiny star. Edgar looked around. No one else was nearby. His heart raced. This must be something special, he thought. Instead of telling his boss, Edgar slipped the glowing stone into his pocket and kept working like nothing had happened. That night, long after his family had gone to sleep, Edgar tiptoed outside with a lantern in his hand. He had hidden the stone behind the shed in a wooden box. He opened the box and looked at it again. To his surprise, the stone was glowing even brighter than before. It shimmered in the dark like moonlight on water. Edgar stared into its soft blue light, and something strange began to happen in his heart, which had always felt heavy and tired, now felt cold and tight. A mean little voice inside him whispered, "You don't need anyone now. You have the stone." The next morning, Edgar was different. His wife smiled and asked if he wanted breakfast, but he snapped, "Leave me alone." When his son came to show him a new drawing, Edgar pushed it away and grumbled, "Go play somewhere else." He didn't go to work. He didn't say hello to his friends. He just sat at home, watching the stone, opening the box again and again. "I don't need to work anymore," he muttered. "I have the magic stone. It will make me rich and powerful." But days went by, and nothing changed except Edgar. He became meaner and more selfish. He stopped smiling. He stopped helping. He even stopped eating properly because he was too busy guarding the stone. He was afraid someone might take it. Every hour, he checked the box to make sure it was still there. His wife was sad. She missed the man who used to laugh, even just a little. His son didn't understand why his dad never played with him anymore. Edgar's friends knocked on the door, but he told them to go away. Little by little, everyone who cared about Edgar stopped coming. He had chased them all away with his angry words and cold heart. Soon, Edgar was all alone, sitting in his dark house with only the glowing stone to keep him company. Then one night, something big happened. Dark clouds filled the sky. The wind howled and shook the trees. Rain poured down harder than ever before. A loud clap of thunder shook the ground. It was the biggest storm the village had seen in years. Water rushed through the streets. The river near Edgar's house overflowed. The wind blew open the door of the shed. When Edgar woke up the next morning, everything was wet and muddy. He ran outside, heart pounding, to check on his stone. But the box was gone. The shiny blue stone had vanished, washed away by the storm. "No!" Edgar shouted. He searched the ground, digging through the mud with his bare hands. "It can't be gone!" But it was. The stone was lost forever. Edgar sat down in the dirt. His clothes were soaked and his hands were shaking. And for the first time in a long time, he began to cry. "It was just a silly stone," he whispered, "and I gave up everything for it." He looked at his empty house. No wife, no child, no friends, just silence. That day, Edgar finally understood something very important. The most precious things in the world are not shiny or magical. They are not things you can hide in a box. They are the people who care about you, the ones who smile when they see you, who bring you soup or draw you pictures. With a heart full of regret, Edgar stood up. He cleaned himself off and went to find his family and friends. He knocked on his neighbor's door and said, "I'm sorry." He hugged his wife and told her how much she meant to him. He lifted his little boy in his arms and smiled, really smiled for the first time in ages. And this time, he meant it with all his heart. From that day on, Edgar still worked hard. He still had muddy boots and sore hands. But he had something much better than a glowing stone. He had love, laughter, and people who cared about him. Moral of the story: never let greed make you forget the people who truly matter.